As the sun is setting on the 2004 CFL regular season, it's must-win time for the Blue Bombers and the Tiger Cats. Great matchup in a last-ditch run for the playoffs. Both teams right in the thick of a 5-team race for the final 3 playoff spots. It's another perfect evening for Wendy's Friday Night Football here in Winnipeg. 17 degrees at kickoff time. The wind northwest at 22. That is right to left across your television screen tonight.
Third down gamble last week for Greg Marshall, and the Hamilton Tiger Cats turned into a big win and has really set the Ticats up to control their destiny with regards to the playoff picture.
And across the way, Jim Daly, another graduate of the coaching ranks in Canadian University football. He has made the difference in Winnipeg. The Bombers have won 3 of the last 5 games. And if they win the final 3 starting tonight, the Bombers are guaranteed a place in the playoffs. Tiger Cats won the toss and have elected to take the ball. Chris Martin is deep for Hamilton, awaiting the kickoff from Winnipeg's Troy Westwood. And we're underway. Westwood squibs it down to the 25-yard line. Decent return for the Tiger Cats by Gilliam. And Danny McManus with a hot hand last time the Cats met the Blue Bombers. McManus will throw to Craig Yeast as a primary target in this one tonight, with Archie Emerson banged up and on the sidelines. The Tiger Cats offensive line has allowed the fewest sacks in the league this season. And Dave Hack over there at right tackle is as steady as they come. Tonight's starting lineups brought to you by Tums. Tums tackles heartburn pass. First down, Hamilton. It's Troy Davis. And he's got about 3. Making a 2-yard gain for Davis there.
And the man that just hit Troy Davis was Rylan Wickman back in the lineup. But the key and the big story here is Joe Fleming for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. His second game as a Bomber, already has 1 sack back in that Winnipeg uniform. And the other part of that deal, or 1/3 of it, was Wes Lysak, who gets his first start. Come back from injury. He'll start at the safety. Joe Fleming, 5 sacks on the season, but 1 as a Bomber in 2004.
2nd and 8 for the Tiger Cats. McManus puts it up. He's on the money, and he'll come up short with a connection to Tunkara, number 80 right there. Little pressure from Joe Fleming.
Yeah, Joe Fleming is going to make a big difference to this defensive line that was very good prior to Fleming's arrival. But you look at Alfred Payton, Tom Canada leads the way. He's number 44 on the outside. Look at the tenacity from Joe Fleming in the first passing play of this game. Fleming makes them better up front and may be able to make up for a shaky secondary for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers.
Certainly will help as the Tiger Cats are forced into a punting situation. 2 and out for Hamilton. Jamie Borum had an adventure last week.
Whoa.
Barely got this one away. He's down and draws a flag at the 30-yard line. Stokes returning for Winnipeg, and we'll check out the infraction. Borum is slow to get up.
Yeah, that'll be roughing the kicker, Boyd Barrett.
Major foul, roughing the kicker. Winnipeg 32. First down.
Dressed as an extra defensive back tonight due to injury, and Boyd Barrett comes in off the edge right here, and he is going to be real late. Jamie Borum has that leg extended and in the air, and until it comes to the ground, you cannot contact the kicker. Barrett does not try to avoid Jamie Borum, and the Hamilton Tiger Cats will keep the football.
Ironically, a collision between 2 ex-University of Manitoba Bisons right there, giving the Tiger Cats a first down inside the Blue Bomber 50. Davis, nice hole for Davis. Troy Davis, 2nd in rushing in the CFL so far this season.
Well, what a race that is. I mean, you've got the 2 top running backs, in fact, in Charles Roberts, who's in first place in that rush for that rushing title, and Troy Davis just 12 yards behind coming into this game. The only 2 running backs in the league so far this year over 1,000 yards.
And Davis does have a game in hand on the Blue Bomber running back. Tipped up and intercepted. Kelly has it for the Blue Bombers. First interception given up by the Tiger Cats in this one tonight. It was a tip ball intended for DJ Flick. And that one high into the air, and 2 Bombers were waiting.
John, the first Winnipeg Blue Bomber to go over and congratulate Maurice Kelly will likely be Boyd Barrett. Big mistake in the kicking game by Barrett, but his teammate right here tipped from Covington, and then Maurice Kelly comes up with that tip football. And the Winnipeg Blue Bombers essentially take some points off the board.
On first down, picked off the other way. First pass from Kevin Glenn is grabbed by the Tiger Cats. Arabin Justin, 2 interceptions in 2 games for Justin. Back-to-back interceptions. Justin for the Tiger Cats has Hamilton back within 3 yards of where they were 1 play ago, prior to the interception given up by McManus. Ticats shotgun. McManus with time, dumps it off. And that should have been caught. Radlin was thinking about running before he had control of the ball, and he puts it on the turf.
Heading into this game, concern here in Winnipeg for Kevin Glenn and in the health of his throwing shoulder. And Kevin Glenn on the full roll, throwing on the run, just gets nothing on that throw. It comes out of his hands with a bad wobble.
Quack,
he has
quack.
absolutely no strength, and that's a concern for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers now. He didn't take a whole lot of reps all week, said it was okay, but it didn't look okay there.
2nd and 10, McManus and the Tiger Cats. DJ Flick was the target, couldn't bring it in. Covington covering.
So Air Justin's interception, I'm going to call him Air Justin, because he's got a couple now in back-to-back games. And it doesn't give the Hamilton Tiger Cats a chance for points, but it does get a much-needed field position.
Well, Air Justin would be a better name for a receiver, but I guess it'll work out.
Well, if you're
quite
intercepting passes as a defensive back, you can be called Air Justin.
So Borum is in again, and Stokes is deep for Winnipeg. Jamie Borum slightly shaken up when he had his last one interfered with. Gets this one away. A one-hopper. And Stokes stopped in his tracks and then wrapped up by Hitchcock. -3 on the return. Back in Winnipeg, Keith McMahon patrolling the sidelines at the Tiger Cat bench, and here's Sean Churchill over on the Winnipeg side.
Thank you, John. One of the biggest concerns for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers heading into this game is controlling the Hamilton Tiger Cats front forward. Joe Montford with 3 sacks last week pushes league leading total to 10. Tim Cheatwood right behind him with 9, and as a foursome, they have 25. And back in July in the first meeting, they held the #1 rusher in the league, Charles Roberts, to just 55 yards in the entire game, something most teams can't lay claim to.
Second set of downs for the Bombers, and Charles Roberts gets the call. He leads the CFL in rushing.
You know, and that is the dilemma for the defensive line for the Hamilton Tiger Cats tonight. I mean, this is a defensive line that talked about all the sacks. They have lots of sacks. In fact, Mumford leads the league, but they have to be so concerned with Charles Roberts. It takes a little bit away from their pass rush moves and their ability to just get after the quarterback, Kevin Glenn.
Roberts picks up 7, 2nd and 3, Blue Bombers at the Winnipeg 18. Roberts again. He'll get the first down easily out across the 25. Charles Roberts leading the league in rushing, as mentioned. He picked up 453 yards and 5 touchdowns to be the player of the month in September. And up front, it's been a struggle for the Blue Bombers along the offensive line, but improving a great deal recently. Dave Mudge is the veteran leader up there for Winnipeg.
Well, Dave Mudge is going to have to deal with Joe Mumford and Tim Cheatwood.
Glenn looks to put it up. This one looks better. Complete. And the ex-Stampeder, Scott Regenbald, has his first reception as a Winnipeg Blue Bomber.
The final third of the deal that sent Kahari Jones to Calgary and brought Joe Fleming, Wes Lysak defensively, and Scott Regenbald, fullback out of the backfield, and he just sneaks out of that backfield right over the middle. He's not picked up by any of the linebackers for the Hamilton Tiger Cats. Looks like Marcus Spencer was in charge of covering him, didn't do it, and Reginald picks up a nice first down.
A 23-yard gain. The Winnipeg Blue Bombers out near the 50. Roberts again, and he's across that 50-yard line.
Joe Mumford, 10 sacks on the season, 3 last week. He leads that front 4, but Charles Roberts likely their #1 concern here tonight. And in the secondary, some newcomers, but some pretty good newcomers. Jason Goss, nice game versus the Edmonton Eskimos a week ago, and we've already seen Air Justin out on that corner with an interception tonight. Arabin is his name.
There you go.
I'm giving him Air Justin.
Timeout.
Bombers
Hamilton.
looking at 2nd and 8. And the Ticats take a timeout. An early one here.
Boy, the importance of this game, though, for Greg Marshall, the Hamilton Tiger Cats, who have to look at the Winnipeg Blue Bombers in that crossover scenario. I mean, this game is a playoff game for both of these football teams. I mean, take a look at Hamilton's schedule. This is the game tonight, Winnipeg. Then they've got Ottawa twice, can control that race in the East, can still catch Toronto. But they want to eliminate the crossover to the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, just a point behind them.
And with 4 games to go, including this one, the Tiger Cats are really in the driver's seat in this run, with 5 teams chasing 3 playoff spots that are unaccounted for as it stands right now. 2nd and 8. Glenn back to the shotgun. He's got Stiegel, and the coverage was a little too tight. It was Chris Martin moving in to cover Milt Stiegel, who came off a great game last week in a losing cause.
Well, and Chris Martin was in good position, but it looks again like Kevin Glenn just can't get enough on this football. You're going to see Milt Stiegel recognize what happens here. No safety in the middle, so where does Stiegel go? Right to that void. He's going to go right. He's done this his entire career, and why he's been the great receiver he's been. Now, that's a great play by Chris Martin to catch up, but had that ball been thrown up over the top, Stiegel has a touchdown, and it doesn't look to me like Kevin Glenn is able to get enough on that football yet tonight.
Bombers get a bit of a break here with an offside penalty against Joe Mumford, so it's 2nd down. And Glenn gets another crack at it, feels a little heat, lost the ball, and it is actually fumbled.
Yeah, he's struggling.
And he's lucky to get it back, or at least the Blue Bombers are.
They'll call that an incomplete
Whoa.
pass. Yeah, he said it was in the forward motion.
Yeah,
so
I guess so. Maybe it was.
It bounces down off the turf. But again, you know, all week long, Kevin Glenn doesn't take as many of the reps that he normally would as the #1 quarterback. The media all over him asking about that shoulder injury, and he says it is absolutely fine. Now, a sore shoulder can also affect your grip on the football, and that just slipped out of his hand.
Yeah, that wasn't the throw. That was, he pump faked it. That was the throwing motion, and then he couldn't hang on, but they do call it an incomplete pass. So Kevin Glenn dealing with a dilemma here tonight.
Well, yeah, you just have to wonder how much strength he has in that arm. The first interception to Arabin Justin, he didn't put anything on that football. And had he had another 3-4 yards on the throw to Milt Stiegel, he has a big play. That one, he just lost the handle. So you've got to think that the Winnipeg coaching staff and training staff concerned with Kevin Glenn right now.
Here's John Ryan for the Bombers back at his 41. And Jason Goss awaits back near the Hamilton 15. Low kick. Goss looked for a block. He didn't get any help at all. And that's where the Ticats will begin inside the 25. Ticats first down from the 24. Nice pass. McManus. And he has a strike out at the 50-yard line. Tunkara making the catch there. Had a touchdown last week against the Eskimos in a hugely important win to the Tiger Cats' hopes for the playoff.
And you know Danny McManus will go ahead and try and test Wes Lysak down the middle of that zone defense as he gets his first start with the Winnipeg Blue Bombers at safety. Wes Lysak should, even though he's young, stabilize the secondary for the Bombers.
28-yard gain for Tunkara. Tiger Cats from the 52. Troy Davis slashes through for about 3, maybe 4 yards.
You know, now this is the 2 in the trade, and Joe Fleming can really help Wes Lysak in the back end get used to that secondary. I mean, basically, Wes Lysak over the last 2 weeks has had to go over to his left there and say, Stephen, my name is Wes, how are you? And then he goes over to Ricky Bell and say, Mr. Bell, I'm Wes Lysak, nice to meet you. Now, if he can get his buddy Joe Fleming to get after Danny McManus, take some pressure off them while they learn about each other.
McManus on second down. As Davis sliding out of the backfield, and the Bombers read it well and stop him short of a first down. Joe Fleming back as a Blue Bomber for the second time in his career, and he seems happy enough about it.
You know, it's very exciting for, you know, myself, Scott Reginbald, Wes Lysak to, you know, to go from where we're at to all of a sudden having a game of these kind of implications. You know, we didn't have that in Calgary, and right now, you know, it kind of gives me a little bit of goosebumps, you know, stepping on the field, knowing the playoff implications and how exciting this can be down the stretch for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers.
Tiger Cats into a kicking situation deep for the Bombers. Keith Stokes inside the 10. He's had a great year returning. Here's another big one, and a flag comes down to cut that a little bit short.
Yeah, sure. That looks like that will be coming back, and you got Joe Fleming talked about how excited he is to be playing a game of this magnitude, and Winnipeg Blue Bombers a chance to finish as high as second in the West Division.
Winnipeg 27, first down.
If they can run the table, and this was a good defensive line, and you know, I talked to Joe yesterday about it, and he said, you know, I got a chance right now to play beside Doug Brown, and this is going to be some kind of tandem. Doug Brown and Joe Fleming inside, Tom Canada, the great rookie, and Alfred Payton on the outside. All of a sudden, Winnipeg Blue Bombers have a powerful defensive line on their hands.
And simply put, for the Blue Bombers, a win tonight over Hamilton and then a win over Edmonton and Calgary in the final 2 weeks of the season, and the Bombers will finish ahead of the Edmonton Eskimos. That means 3 wins in a row, and here's Charles Roberts. Again, he's been busy so far tonight. He has the 10-yard line as the Bombers started deep in their own zone after the clipping call.
Well, this is a second and medium to long, so you're going to see Kevin Glenn in basically a passing situation, and another chance to just look at that injury situation and see if he can grip the football first and put any mustard on it to get it to his receiver. Passing down.
On 2nd and 5, Glenn stands in, and he's got Charles Roberts. Roberts will be short of the first down, stopped around the 12-yard line, so it's a kicking situation for Winnipeg deep in the Bomber zone.
Well, this is one call that will help Kevin Glenn a little bit if his shoulder is bothering him, like it looks like it is, because if he just dumps this ball over the top of the offensive line, he really doesn't have to put a whole lot on it. His throwing motion, not a full step and throw there, but he really just had to dump it over to Charles Roberts. Of course, the Hamilton Tiger Cats defensively know that. Come up and make the tackle and force Winnipeg to punt.
No points on the board so far.
I'm Johnny Scott, motherfucker.
As Goss drops back, and John Ryan moves into the Blue Bomber end zone by a couple of yards. Bombers kicking against the wind. Do you think about giving up the 2 here with nothing on the scoreboard so far? Flags go down. Procedure call.
Procedure, Winnipeg 34, still third down.
Well, now Jim Daly is in a position there. He might consider giving up 2. You know, when John Ryan is standing basically on the goal line, a big punt, and, you know, you can put your defense on the field and have a chance, but now you're 5-6 yards deep in the end zone. Hamilton just catches the ball and goes down there in field goal range.
And kicking into the breeze, too. At 22 kilometers per hour at kickoff time.
Oh, boy. Wade Miller a little bit jumpy in the middle of that punt cover team for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers.
Procedure, Winnipeg 34, still third down.
Well, he can't give up much more, can he?
They keep going half the distance, and basically take the decision out of Jim Daly's hands, and that's what Wade Miller has done. He's taken the decision out of his hands, and now he's almost forced to give up the 2 points.
Ryan is way deep in the end zone now and will walk out the backside after running a little extra time off the clock. So the Tiger Cats count 2. Just 2 points on the board on Wendy's Friday Night Football from Winnipeg. Over at the Ticat sideline, here's Keith McMahon.
Thanks, John. And kicker Jamie Borum is no stranger to this field. He beat Greg Marshall's McMaster Marauders in the 2001 Churchill Bowl as a member of the University of Manitoba Bisons. Now he's got a supporter in his coach who had his patience reinforced at the Hall of Fame weekend by Louis Pasaglia, who said he might not have kicked for 25 years if he didn't have some early support in BC by his coaching staff. So patience can be a virtue for a young kicker who went from goat to hero in a hurry last week.
Certainly did. On the return, it's Gilliam for the Tiger Cats.
Yeah.
Out at the 35-yard line. And how do you explain what happened to Borum last week?
Missed a couple early and then lined up with the game on the line 47 yards away and absolutely nailed it. And I love the story because you mentioned Greg Marshall talking to Louis Pasaglia and having patience in a young kicker. It was a nightmare until that point.
Yeah. He missed 2 from 15 yards, and right after the game, Borum said, I kicked like a goof in the first half. But then the 47-yarder won it in a critical victory for the Tiger Cats over the Eskimos that really puts Hamilton into the driver's seat in this playoff race as a result of that win.
Well, it was a dramatic finish, and it does, and I think if Hamilton Tiger Cats...
Winnipeg, illegal use of electronic equipment while the opposition is over the ball. First down.
Music was playing a little too long there here in Canad Inns Stadium in Winnipeg, and McManus was coming out over the ball, so Winnipeg gets that penalty. 13th man's got a penalty early. But was there ever a dramatic finish to that? Great third down gamble, gutsy call from Greg Marshall, paid off for him, and Borum nailed that field goal.
First down, Hamilton. McManus near side, and he'll come close to the first down on a connection at the 53 for a 9-yard gain. Ticats are shuffling that receiving core, and Yeast makes the catch there.
Yeah, they had to make the shuffle because Archie Amerson is out of the lineup with a knee injury, so they have to move now. Craig Yeast, he goes and plays inside, and you're going to have DJ Flick out on the outside. So Craig Yeast will go and replace basically Archie Amerson. DJ Flick has been the go-to guy the last 2 weeks, almost 300 yards for Flick, 278 in the last 2 games. So Danny McManus may lean on DJ Flick a little bit more, the former Ottawa Renegade, with his go-to guy Archie Amerson on the lineup.
Illegal contact charged against the Bombers on that last play, so it is a first down for the Tiger Cats as Troy Davis takes off again, and he's across the 50.
You line up this starting receiving core, though, and you throw Archie Amerson in there. There's 4 receivers for the Hamilton Tiger Cats on pace for a 1,000-yard season if Morreale gets a couple more down the stretch. Now, when you look back to last year and the problems in the receiving core that Danny McManus had, this is a big improvement for the football team.
Yeah, when you look at it and looking back to last year, Amerson was the receiving core, wasn't he?
Yeah, and the receiving coach.
Yes.
Yeah.
Second and 5. Davis turns the corner. It'll be a first down for the Tiger Cats. Into Blue Bomber territory as another flag comes down.
Looks like Troy Davis was out of bounds by a couple yards when he was taken down over there on that sideline. But what a luxury for a coach and for offensive coordinator Jamie Barisi to be able to call Troy Davis's number on 2nd and 5. I mean, he has lots of yards to pick up along the ground. Now let's see that penalty. Davis about a half a yard out of bounds when he was hit.
Foul, unnecessary roughness. Winnipeg 31. First down.
Wes Lysak took an extra step over there on that sideline and threw his shoulder into Troy Davis.
An 11-yard gain sets the Tiger Cats up inside the Blue Bomber 25 now at the 24. First down, Hamilton. Davis a hit, and he was wrapped up and slowed down at least by Joe Fleming.
Yeah, Joe Fleming will not only help in the, when you look at rushing the passer, but he also helps in that run defense. I mean, this is a team that had to improve the Winnipeg Blue Bombers on their rush defense. They come into this game ranked 8th in the CFL, giving up over 100 yards per game. So now you throw Joe Fleming in the mix in the interior part of that defensive line, along with Doug Brown, and they're much better against the run.
Gain of 4, 2nd and 6. Big play, Tiger Cats, as McManus looked to the end zone, and 2 Bombers were closer to that than any Tiger Cat receivers. Penalty flag down inside the 15.
Bit of a timing problem there for Danny McManus. He was looking to his left the entire time, and he went back to the opposite side to his right to look for DJ Flick, who had just broken off his pass route.
Illegal contact on a receiver. Winnipeg 26. First down.
Steven Fisher to the play side, and the reason probably McManus had to go to the backside, some illegal contact.
So Morreale was the target, and Fisher was the culprit.
There's the illegal contact right there. You can see it in the middle of your screen, the grab.
First down, Tiger Cats. Davis inside the 10, and Joe Fleming was waiting. Into the final few seconds of the opening quarter with the Ticats on top, thanks to a safety. It's 2-0 Hamilton. 8th play of this drive. Penalties have helped out a little bit. 2nd and goal at the Bombers 9. Should be the last play of the quarter. McManus couldn't connect. He was looking for Yeast, and I think someone hit his arm.
Alfred Payton, and he's looking for his 5th sack of the season as he climbs up that chart. He almost got there. McManus just got rid of it, but Alfred Payton pulled his arm down, and that ball hits the turf.
That's the end of the opening quarter with the Ticats on top. It's Wendy's Friday Night Football on a great evening in Winnipeg. All right, guys, and the Tiger Cat drive stalls at the 9-yard line. It'll be 3rd down and a field goal attempt being made. Here are the numbers after the opening quarter.
You can see Hamilton Tiger Cats with the advantage in the first down department, but really the yardage very close. Not a lot happening offensively just yet. Been a few penalties in that first quarter, though, including illegal use of electronic equipment. The boys mentioned it at the break there.
Borum missed a couple from 15 yards out. He's at about the 16-yard line for this one, and he's off the post and out. He can't hit from close range, or that seems to be the problem. And a dead ball there as he knocked that one off the left post.
If Jamie Borum is having an ugly flashback, this story, Jamie, has a happy ending for you.
Yes, you get to kick the game winner.
If it is a nasty flashback, because this is exactly how the evening started for Jamie Borum a week ago against the Edmonton Eskimos. A chip shot that he yanks again, and once again he's pulling the ball to his left. That one right off the goalpost. Normally from that angle that ball would hit the post and bounce through. He didn't even get that brave.
Missed 2 from 15 and 1 from 34 last week at Ivor Wynn before nailing the 47-yard game winner over the Edmonton Eskimos. So it remains 2-0 Ticats. It's a first down Winnipeg at the 25. Just a little quick, and markers on both sides of the field as a result. Looking ahead to Sunday night, more football on the Sports Network with Baltimore taking on the Redskins in Washington. The kickoff is at 8:30 Eastern. We hope you can join us for that. The NFL on Sunday night, available in high definition on TSN.
Joe Gibbs back with the Washington Redskins. Boy, both teams out here tonight seem to be a little tense. A couple of procedure calls. They're wound pretty tight, I think, in this one.
First and 5 for the Bombers.
John, you get these games of this magnitude and this important to the guys, and it may be the team that can become most disciplined here tonight. Maybe the team that prevails, because you can tell both teams are wound up. I mean, the coaches look wound up, let alone the teams. And that's when you get a lot of those procedure calls and guys jumping the gun to try and make something happen.
Charles Roberts gets 3 yards there. And Winnipeg looks at 2nd and 2. Bombers at the 33, trailing by 2. Roberts, and a nice hole for the Blue Bombers. Outstanding running back. Roberts turns it into a big first down out across the 40, out across the 45.
And the race for the rushing title continues. Charles Roberts now getting his turn, and we have to continue to update this stat until the streak is broken. But Charles Roberts, I believe right now, when the team rushes for 100 and Roberts gets over 100 yards, they are 17-0.
You're absolutely correct.
We have to keep updating it until the streak comes to an end. Oh,
he's on his way.
I love that hit. That's Rob Hitchcock stepping up in there.
Now Hitchcock thought he created a fumble as a result.
Rob Hitchcock is playing down in the linebacking core. Woo! He stepped up into Charles Roberts there. And they love him down there because he has the ability to be able to cover out of the backfield, but he can step up and make some plays against the run like he did right there on Charles Roberts. That's a big hit.
Gain is 5 yards, 2nd and 5, Blue Bombers. Out across the 50, approaching midfield. Kevin Glenn shotgun. Target. And Stiegel steps up after getting the first down.
You know, Stiegel had a big game in a loss versus the BC Lions, the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. In fact, it was a breakout game for Milt Stiegel, and finally this year he got up over 100. And you know, it was a long time coming for him in 2004.
And over 100 in a big way. 7 catches for 189 yards.
Well, and if he's catching fire at this time of year, that's good news for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers.
Picked up 9 there, first down, Winnipeg. Now at the Ticat 50, Charles Roberts caught from behind. That's Joe Montford riding him to the turf.
See, Joe Montford is one of the few defensive ends in the entire CFL that can get away with this, because usually the defensive end has to step up and contain the quarterback. Joe Montford has the speed to check containment. If it's not going that way, he can come underneath and still run down Charles Roberts from the backside. Not many can do it, but Joe Montford can get it done because of his speed.
Loss of 1. 2nd and 11 for Kevin Glenn. And the Bombers, far side. This one's a little high.
Oh, Air Justin. Watch out, Air Justin was going the other way.
Stoddard was the target.
You know, when you get a young secondary as a coach, you got to believe that they just want to see signs. You know you're going to have some problems, and every time you play one rookie, I've heard it been said before that one rookie in the lineup will cost you a game somewhere along the way. But they've seen lots of bright spots from Arabin Justin out there in the corner, back-to-back interceptions the last 2 games, and he had a nice jump on that ball.
Tiger Cats have 3 guys in the lineup in this one tonight with a total of 9 games of CFL experience, and all 3 are in the secondary.
That's another one, Jason Goss right there.
Ryan's kick bobbled at the 10, and Goss got it back with a penalty flag down. We'll check out the infraction when we return. Penalty was against the Tiger Cats on the return, so Hamilton begins at the 5-yard line with a first down. Neither offense has been able to generate very much so far in this one tonight. McManus has DJ Flick. He broke a tackle and is dropped after gaining the first down out across the 20 at the 23.
That was vintage Danny McManus with that quick release to DJ Flick, and his 15th season in the Canadian Football League. Danny McManus has 9 4,000+ yard seasons. His best year, 1999, with 5,334. This season, he's on pace for 51+, and that would be number 2 in his career.
Still the fastest gun in the league, an 18-yard pickup. And this is Troy Davis. Look to the outside, nothing there, cuts it back in.
Well, you heard Dave Randorf at the break talk about the fact that Alfred Payton is looking for 4 sacks to tie Grover Covington in that list. And I asked Payton about Danny McManus' quick release. He said, yeah, I'm in desperate need of a game with a couple of sacks if I can get the record. And it's not going to be very easy tonight because Danny McManus has that quick release. Covington, 157 sacks in his career. Alfred Payton needs 4 to tie, 5 to break the record.
And Payton may be running out of time in his CFL career when you look around at the number of years he's played and what he's got left. So down the stretch in this season, he may have to do it.
Well, John, apparently Grover Covington was trying to bribe the Hamilton offensive line with food, saying, you know, I'll pay for dinner if you guys keep Alfred Payton out of the backfield. So that's what Carl Coulter and the boys up front for the Ticats have on the table right now. A big buffet. And not many offensive linemen will walk by a big buffet.
No, and particularly on Thanksgiving weekend.
No shot.
Davis lost a little at 2nd and 12. Morielli was the target. He hangs on. Mike Morielli in front of Lysak.
You know, and I'm going to say that's a successful drive for the Hamilton Tiger Cats. It's not a long drive, but it's a successful drive from where they started. It gives their punting team a little bit of breathing room and a little bit of field position back as they face this wind. Now, the wind doesn't look real strong when you look at the flags. However, the coaches have been playing from a strategic point of view like it is a big win game. You can see the flag off the goalpost not really moving a whole bunch, but it was a strong win prior to kickoff when we were down at field level. Apparently it's still blowing pretty hard down there.
Keith Stokes back at the Blue Bomber 45. Borum standing inside the Tiger Cat 15. Into the breeze. Stokes steps up, and he's met on special teams coverage by Marcus Spencer. No yards called against the Tiger Cats. It'll cost 15, so a 33-yard punt with the penalty removed is a net 16 yards. So what the Tiger Cats gained in field position is gone twofold here as the Bombers begin at the 45. Kevin Glenn escapes for the moment anyway, then caught from behind. Tim Cheatwood is there to celebrate the first sack of the night.
Well, if you're a Hamilton Tiger Cat fan, the good news is Tim Cheatwood never quit, and he got quarterback Kevin Glenn. The bad news is right after that play, just as it was ending, Adriano Belli limped off the field. He took himself right out after he tried to get a push up the middle. Cheatwood gets the sack. Belli heads for the sideline.
Cheatwood's 10th on the season, so he's tied with the bookend on the other side, Joe Montford. And they are the league leaders with 10 sacks each. Whoa! There was an opportunity for Martin there to pull off the interception off Kevin Glenn.
I think the ball surprised Chris Martin. He was almost going down in coverage to the outside, and it looked like when he turned around, that ball hit him right in the shoulder pads. And Rob Hitchcox is just over there saying, listen, I've had a few interceptions in my career, and you got to just keep your eye on the football. This is a little bit of a grab that Chris Martin gets away with. Tight coverage on Milt Stegall, and you can see the ball kind of surprised him. It arrived in a hurry.
It wouldn't have been an easy one under any circumstance.
Rob. Stay low.
Glenn stands in on 2nd down. Here's the charge. Lobs one ahead for Reginbald. And he powers powers his way inside the 25.
Well, and there's a flag on the field as well. Jermise Jones and Tim Cheatwood in an all-out battle behind the play. Heads up play from Kevin Glenn to find Scott Regenball coming out of the backfield. Because all Glenn's receivers were covered downfield.
Major foul. Unnecessary roughness. Winnipeg 57.
Yeah, this
Second
was
down
coming
repeated.
back. It's just a matter of who initiated the contact, because Jermise Jones and Tim Cheatwood were in a battle behind the play. Well after Regenball was tackled, they were still in a fist fight. There's Tim Cheatwood right here. And watch, he gets engaged with Jermise Jones, that left tackle. Now here they go. Everything's okay here. Take a right hook to Cheatwood, and he gets hit as he starts to get up, and then they start a brawl behind the play. And Jermise Jones got called for the hit in the back as Cheatwood was trying to get up.
2nd and 23 for Glenn and the Bombers. Here's Cullen. Makes the catch. Helmet is off at the 45.
Oh, baby.
Gil Cullen fills in for Kamal Peterson, who's out with a knee injury.
Oh, they're starting to hit now, and this is the playoff intensity that we thought might happen tonight, because the importance of this game. And Cullen is trying to dance around there, and as he's dancing, Donovan Carter says, "You want to dance? I'll dance, baby." Knocks his hat right off.
He got 13 back.
I'm not sure you want Donovan Carter to be your dance partner.
No, I wouldn't think so.
You're a receiver out there on the field.
So Westwood is in with the breeze at his back, and this will be spotted between the 52 and 53. Troy Westwood to put the Bombers in the lead, and he's got it. Westwood nails a 52-yarder, and Winnipeg leads by 1. On Fritos Pandemonium, we continue our search for the wackiest fans in Canadian football, awarding Grey Cup trips.
There was Plunger Head, there's blue hair, more blue hair. And, you know, I'm pretty sure that's not William Wallace, but if this is my army, why does it run?
Great crowd on hand in Winnipeg this evening, 25,000 plus, as the Bombers continue this stretch run for a playoff spot. McManus over the top to about the 40-yard line. He has Craig Yeast there. And Danny McManus with over 49,000 yards tossed in his CFL career, definitely closing in on his 50,000th yard before this season is over, and likely second place on the all-time list.
Yeah, and you have to give some credit to his offensive coordinator, Jamie Barisi, who's a little bit about Danny McManus before he saw him with the Hamilton Tiger Cats here this season.
Gain of 4, 2nd and 6. McManus looks deep this time. Long pass, what a great catch for Gilliam. Dondra Gilliam, I should say, makes the catch. And that's a huge gain for the Tiger Cats of 33 yards.
The end of the play is the key for Gilliam, because he's going down the sideline and he has a step, but he has to make an adjustment on the fly with his body. See how he has to turn backwards? I mean, that is that's a great catch in the open field for Gilliam. And he struggled a little bit last week.
He did. Not listed as a starting receiver in this one, gets in as the 5th guy. Here's the starting running back for a few more for the Tiger Cats. Troy Davis has been the workhorse so far. He has 6 yards there.
Boy, that catch by Gilliam, I just had a flashback.
We're back to 89, aren't we?
I just had a flashback there. I mean, you remember Tony Champion in the 89 Grey Cup, the Hamilton Tiger Cats? He had a broken rib and made a catch very similar to that in the end zone. It was in the end zone, but that had a little flashback there, that catch from Gilliam.
McManus. Of course, Davis sliding out of the backfield.
Of course, John had a different angle on the Tony Champion catch as
well, and
I did on the Gilliam catch, but
in a way different feeling, because that Grey Cup game was kind of slipping away with that catch for at least a moment. You'll give me that, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
they tied it up right there, and yeah, there was some concerns. Of course, McManus Wasn't the quarterback at that time, but that was some kind of catch for Gilliam. Only 4 catches on the season coming in to this game, and that was a big one.
McManus has not moved his Tiger Cats all that effectively so far. And here we go. Second crack at it for Jamie Borum. 0 for 1. This from 16. This a little further back at the 37. And smooth stroke. He's got this one. Don't ask him to kick in close. That's been a tough thing as the Ticats take the lead. Well, we expected a little more offense by this time in this game as we close in on halftime. The guys are ready and fired up for Wendy's at the half. About 3 minutes away on the stadium clock here in Winnipeg.
Dave, Chris, and Jock ready to go, and some secondary play maybe to talk about tonight. And I'm watching some secondaries that have been ripped a little bit throughout the season. Making some big plays.
There's Keith Stokes on the return for the Bombers. Got a nice block, but he's only got about the 28-yard line. So it's up to Kevin Glenn, the #1 quarterback in Winnipeg, with Kahari Jones moving on to Calgary. And there's no doubt about who's #1, but he's struggling a little bit tonight.
Yeah, he is. He's got that sore shoulder, you know, and I asked Jim Daly yesterday about the trade with Kahari Jones going to Calgary, and was it just that Kevin Glenn was playing well, Kahari Jones maybe struggling? And he said, no, actually, it was the acquisition of T. Martin, who is right now listed as the 3rd-string quarterback out of Tennessee. Of course, 4 years of National Football League experience and off and on rosters and practice rosters down in the States. T. Martin allowed him to make that move.
On first down, Glenn put it a little too low, and that's the first time he's looked to Robert Gordon, who draws back into this Bomber offensive scheme after being a healthy scratch a time or two along the season.
You know, and Kevin Glenn right now just doesn't have zip on the football. Now, Stanley Jackson is the #2, so he'll come in the game first if Jim Daly decides that Kevin Glenn just can't get it done, and that injury's hampering him a little too much. And then it would go to T. Martin as the #3 quarterback.
2nd and 10, a little more zip on this, and Stiegel got it for a first down. Bombers out across the 41.
Now that looked like a better throw from Kevin Glenn. Now he stepped in there and he had the snap. You know, like, it's one thing to see the throwing motion of the quarterback, and if it looks like he's not favoring the shoulder, like Kevin Glenn throughout this game has not really winced when he's throwing the football. He's stepped in there, and you've seen that throwing motion. It's just that snap hasn't been there. On that throw it was.
Yeah, until that throw, he feathered quite a few. That's good for a 14-yard gain. Bombers out across the Winnipeg 40. Here's Charles Roberts, retracing his steps and finding his way to a 5-yard gain, maybe even 6.
Well, there is a battle going on in the trenches right now between this defensive line, the Hamilton Tiger Cats, and the guys up front. Watch Tim Cheatwood on this running play. This is away from the ball, folks, but this is what these guys do every game. Mo Elwanibi pulling out there, and they are in a brawl at the point of attack, turning Charles Roberts into the middle.
It is a 6-yard gain, 2nd and 4. This one looks nice. The ball pops loose after the catch was made, and it's picked up by Wayne Shaw. So Stoddard made the catch and then lost the handle on the ball.
Well, it was the right read, the right throw, and everything perfect for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, except for the fact that Jamie Stoddard, who's had a couple of good games back-to-back for Winnipeg, puts the football on the ground. He's right in the seam, wide open, and it's Air Justin making another play from the backside. Arabin Justin knocks that ball out of there. Wayne Shaw comes up with the fumble recovery.
So the Tiger Cats take over at the 36. McManus to the near side. At least that's where he was looking initially, and he gets a strike to DJ Flick. Flick was flanked to the near side and slants in for the first down and an 18-yard gain.
I mentioned Jamie Barisi, the offensive coordinator for the Hamilton Tiger Cats, and he knew a little bit about Danny McManus before arriving in Hamilton this year. In fact, when Parisi was at Florida. Danny McManus was at Florida State, and they played against each other.
Just a little bit of a rivalry between those two, and there's Troy Davis. I speak for Florida and Florida State.
Yeah, and I was talking to Jamie about that, and he said, you know, when we were there at Florida, and that is the rivalry, obviously, and he said we had Emmett Smith in the backfield, so we were more of a running team, but we played against Danny McManus, and McManus put up great numbers at Florida State. So he knew a little bit about his quarterback before he arrived in Hamilton.
4 for Davis. 2nd and 6 for the Ticats. McManus with time, and he's got DJ Fleck for a key first down inside the 35. And Fleck didn't go down easily, grabbed a couple more after making the catch.
Yeah, we thought that Danny McManus might lean a little bit more on DJ Fleck. You see, DJ Fleck sees press coverage, sees the Bombers right up in man-to-man. So what does he do? He gets inside that bump coverage on Raheem Covington, makes a big play.
No one home that time as McManus couldn't find a target. There was a flag down, and it might have been a free play for the Tiger Cat quarterback after picking up 20 on the previous reception by DJ Fleck.
Get one more look at that catch.
Winnipeg, first down.
Winnipeg get caught with a too many men. Let's take one more look at this, because this is a great job by DJ Fleck at the point of attack, getting inside position. See, he gets inside of Covington, and that allows him to get to that open seam. If Covington does his job and jams him to the outside, doesn't allow him into that middle, there's no catch there. Now you add on the penalty, and all of a sudden Hamilton is in scoring range.
Critical time for a penalty like that. Too many men against the Blue Bombers. Setting the Tiger Cats up at the Winnipeg 22 is Troy Davis. 3, maybe 4 on that carry. Fleming was there again, along with the middle linebacker Ryland Wickman, who gets back into the Bomber lineup this week after missing a couple.
Yeah, and you saw how Tom Canada as well, John. He folds down under Troy Davis there. The defensive ends for the Bombers not really having to respect Danny McManus on that bootleg a whole bunch.
In his 4, 2nd and 6, McManus has to scramble to get out of there, and he finds the relief valve in Mike Morreale. Morreale is inside the 10.
Here's what I'm talking about with Tom Canada and what he's facing in Troy Davis. If Troy Davis, for example, wants to run to the left side of the formation, Danny McManus by design will bootleg out of there, and normally that would, if it's a running quarterback, hold.
McManus to the end zone, an easy 6. Morreale back-to-back catches, and he has a 7-yard reception there for the touchdown as the Tiger Cats put the first major on the board.
Yeah, we'll get back to that as Hamilton Tiger Cats come out there and find Mike Morreale over the middle. We'll get back to that running situation for Tom Canada and what they're facing. But right now they've got to try and stop the pass, and this is Danny McManus. He's got that quick release. He's got it going. He found DJ Fleck in that same zone. And this time it's Mike Morreale's turn, and he's in the blue paint, which means touchdown.
Nice work.
Best drive of the night for obvious reasons. The Ticats are into the end zone. And with 31 seconds to go until halftime, Hamilton has a chance to take a nice lead to the dressing room at halftime. 7 plays to cover 72 yards. Morreale made the final 2 catches. It's 12-3 Ticats. Randolph, Schultz, and Climby set to go at halftime, and set with us next week as the Renegades take on the Tiger Cats in another critical playoff match for both teams next Friday on another Wendy's Friday night.
I think the Renegades be watching this game, don't you think?
I would think so. 2 games between Ottawa and Hamilton could settle that final playoff spot in the Eastern Division, but there's crossover possibilities everywhere. And a great finish in store for this year in the CFL. Here's Stokes, cornered initially, finds a little seam, room to the near sideline. They say the ball squirted loose. That's what the Tiger Cats are saying. And there is the official ruling, as it is a recovery by the Tiger Cats with 19 seconds to go. In the opening half, Stokes puts it on the ground.
Well, John, Keith Stokes has been a great story for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. You can take nothing away from his season. He will always fight for the extra yard no matter what. And this time it cost him, because as he tries to cut back and forth in and amongst all those Hamilton Tiger Cat tacklers. The ball is stripped, picked up by Hamilton. 5 returns for touchdowns this year for Keith Stokes, 4 on the punts. So they'll allow him to have the odd mistake.
McManus with one chance at it.
Caught peeking.
Yes, he was. DJ Flick looking, or rather, Tunkara looking back over his shoulder.
Boy, you know, you start talking about special teams, players of the year, and nominees. Keith Stokes is a front runner, and you know, so even the great ones occasionally make a mistake or two.
Well, and then on special teams, Fran Clarkson comes up with a recovery there. And gives the Tiger Cats a shot at the end zone. McManus looks for it here. He's got Yeast, and Yeast is down to the 1. They call it at the 1-yard line. Yeast wants the touchdown called, but it's a 38-yard pass and run play. McManus to Craig Yeast, and the Ticats with 9 seconds on the clock till a half are at the 1.
You know, and this Craig Yeast does such a nice job. You're going to see Justin Coleman. He's in coverage in the deep inside half of the field, and Coleman can't get there because of the job that Yeast does to widen and get outside.
3 cracks at it if time permits. Will they need it? Well, Radlin can't get in on the first try. Now 4 seconds to go, and they're out of field goal range, I'd say. They're too close, Clint.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying with what Jamie Borum's gone through. They're a little close for a field goal attempt. But you don't want to get caught if you get stuffed right here and have the time run out on you. So this is, you know, they're going to have to get this play done in a hurry. The Winnipeg Blue Bombers are going to want to hit whoever has the football here for Hamilton and try and hold them up. Now they're going to go. There's zeros on the clock right now.
From a 1.5 yard out, Ticats, no timeouts left. Here's one crack at it. And Radlin, or Davis, I should say, Troy Davis. Bombers say they've stopped him. There's no signal down there. And they stopped Troy Davis on the final play of the opening half.
Wow, that's big. Huge for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. Alfred Payton steps in and makes a big play as the half comes to an end. Does Troy Davis cross the plane?
No, I don't think so. I think they got it exactly right.
No. 6 inches away from that goal line, it looks like. He's not even close. Look at this.
Radlin made it into the end zone that time over the top, but Davis had the football. So Payton makes the play, and it's 12-3. Ticats at the half.
CFL on Friday Night Football, baby. Wendy's.
At the half, it's the Ticats by 9. Let's check in at the Bomber bench with Sean Churchill.
Jim, Kevin was lacking some zip on some of his throws. Are you concerned about that sore throwing shoulder?
Well, he says his shoulder's not bothering him. He's rusty from not having practiced all week, so hopefully he's got the rust out of him and he can get back to form.
Would you consider changing quarterbacks?
Well, right now, we want him to come out and get in a groove and get the rust out and take charge of the game. And hopefully that's what will occur.
And what about the push at the end of the first half? Can you use that as momentum?
Absolutely. That was a great stop by our defense.
That was a huge understatement.
Thank you.
Wasn't it? Great stop.
Yeah, I mean, that's a momentum turner at the halfway point for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. Now, can they capitalize on it?
Thomas returning, and the Ticats will start around the 40-yard line. The quarterback stacked up like this.
Last time these two teams played, Danny McManus had a career best, 525 yards passing. He's on his way to about the 400-yard mark. Kevin Glenn struggled in that first quarter, looked a lot better in the second quarter, and like you heard from Jim Daly, said his arm's not bothering him.
McManus on first down. As Gilliam, and he's stopped after a gain of 3, maybe 4 yards there out across the 45.
Both offensive coordinators, Jamie Brise in one side, battling offensively in a defensive struggle here tonight. Just one touchdown to Mike Morielli in the first half. But he has pushed the ball down the field. He's got a couple of seams, one to DJ Flick near the end of that second quarter.
2nd and 6, Tiger Cats. McManus to the far side. Gilliam again. He lost the ball. And the Bombers have it. Wes Lysak coming up with it for Winnipeg. Gilliam made the catch and couldn't hang on.
Our first big play for Wes Lysak as a Winnipeg Blue Bomber. And he went to the University of Manitoba and now gets a chance to get back on this field and play where I think deep down in his heart he wanted to be all the time in front of his home crowd, and he had to get a whole bunch of tickets for this game. Makes a big play, that Bomber jersey on.
One of the reasons over 25,000 plus are here tonight, because Lysak had to buy a few ducats. He's in Bomber blue for the first time here tonight. First down Winnipeg, Charles Roberts. And it could be a huge turnover when you look back to the stop made by the Bomber defense. And if they can take advantage of this turnover here, Winnipeg's right back into the game.
You know, and Gilliam had a nice run going. That was a big play for the Ticats. They might have grabbed some of the momentum back, but Wes Lysak ended it. He was in the right place at the right time for that fumble recovery.
Hey, quiet.
2nd and 7. Nicer pass from Glenn. And Roberts. Gordon went up and couldn't bring it down. Robert Gordon in tight coverage that time from Diedrich Mathis.
He played it perfect. Diedrich Mathis played Robert Gordon perfectly, including when the ball arrived. You know, a lot of players are in good position, and then right as that ball arrives, they panic. But you see how Diedrich Mathis didn't panic. He turned inside towards Gordon, went back to the football, and controlled Robert Gordon's hands, so he couldn't get them up there to catch it.
So Gordon 0 for the evening. Standing in, Jason Goss. Deep for the Tiger Cats at the 15. John Ryan across his 45 to sail a nice kick away. Goss for about 4 on the return, and that's where the Tiger Cats will begin on Wendy's Friday Night Football.
This quarter is brought to you by Esquire. This is your time.
Ticats with a 12-3 lead on the Blue Bombers. Wendy's Friday Night Football, 1st and 10 coming for Hamilton, and this drive begins just inside the 23. Troy Davis, right side, he's got room.
Oh man, sounds of the game. You know, we have that feature, the sounds of the game. Well, Troy Davis wanted to be up close and personal on the sounds of the game. Winnipeg Blue Bombers are trying to build on the momentum that they got when they did this to end the first half of play.
Stuff number 1.
Rylan Wickman involved there. Rylan Wickman involved again along with Alfred Payton.
And number 2 stopping Davis the second time. And how close are the Tiger Cats to a first down here?
Gotta love that call though from Greg Marshall to end the first half, to go ahead. I mean, last week versus Edmonton, that great 3rd down gamble paid off for him. In the half, he's 1 yard away from the end zone, says that's okay, let's go and try and get that touchdown. Now, it didn't work out for him, but you still have to love the call.
Here we go with 2nd and inches for the Tiger Cats. And that should do it.
Those inches are hard to come by, aren't they?
They really are. Well, they'll take a closer look on the carry by Radlin.
You know, Rylan Wickman missed last week's game, and he's been injured. he comes back in the lineup. He's in the middle and is a run stopper. I mean, Rylan Wickman from the linebacker spot is a true run stopper. You know, he got on the outside Maurice Kelly. He's your pass coverage guy, but for Wickman, that's where that's his forte. And then you get the help from a Doug Brown and Joe Fleming in the middle, and now you have a nice little triangle in the middle of that defense all of a sudden for Winnipeg. Brown, Fleming, and then Rylan Wickman to just fly around and make tackles. And that's why the Bombers get the stop on the goal line, and that's why even the couple of inches right here were tough to come by.
They did get the first down, and there's an injured Tiger Cat on the field. We'll check out the status when we return. It's Wendy's Friday Night Football from Winnipeg. Injury timeout here in Winnipeg was for Wayne Smith, the Tiger Cats' right guard. Off under his own steam to the sideline and being tended to over there.
That nod is a good sign. Wayne Smith may be back.
Tiger Cats with the first down. McManus, Tunkara. He fights his way for a little extra yardage, but he's well short of a first down.
Wayne Smith has to stay out for a couple more plays at the very least, you know, and they need Wayne Smith back in there beside Carl Coulter. Smith actually was the guy, offensive lineman, that made the key block in that third down gamble a week ago to get Marcus Brady the first down. They need Wayne Smith back.
Pascal Charon is in this for the first down, and the Tiger Cats will move the sticks. And one more time with a penalty flag down. We'll check that out as well.
And so does Troy Davis need, and this is no slight against Pascal Charon, but you know, Wayne Smith, the starter in there, is
offside. Winnipeg 56. Penalties declined. First down.
Big part of the reason that Troy Davis ranks second, just behind Charles Roberts coming into tonight for the rushing title. So Pascal Charon will come in and fill in for a few more plays at the very least, but boy, the Ticats don't want to be without Wayne Smith for long, and neither does Troy Davis.
And up for a first down with the penalty called against Alfred Payton of the Blue Bombers. Ticats out across the 45. With a first down at the Hamilton 46. Shotgun again. McManus. Troy Davis again. No room up the middle. Squirts to the outside. Nice run for Davis. We talked about the battle between Troy Davis of the Tiger Cats,
well, yeah,
and Charles Roberts for the rushing title overall.
Yeah, and you see here too, watch how Doug Brown in the middle of this defense, he knows Wayne Smith is out due to injury. There's Fleming and Doug Brown working together. See the penetration that Doug Brown got. Troy Davis gets it on his own.
2nd and 5. Tunkara was the target. A penalty flag is down, and Tunkara was tightly covered and decked down there by Eric Carter.
It's been quite a comeback for Eric Carter on the corner for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. He was injured early in the season, and at that time really thought that his career may be over. And he's made a nice comeback, and they need him in the lineup. One of the few veterans they have back there,
holding
Eric Carter.
Hamilton number 50. Forward pass interference. Hamilton number 80. That penalty declined.
And you can see how
both
important
declined. Third down.
When injuries happen, you see Eric Carter comes back from an injury, and Ticats need Wayne Smith back. That was Charon with the holding call, and it looks like Wayne Smith is getting ready to come back into the game the next time the Ticats get the football.
2 penalties against the Tiger Cats. It was 2nd and 5 a second ago.
Injury's always a part of it, and you know, the great teams and the teams that go on and do good things in the playoffs have depth. Pascal Charon is a very good and solid backup. Wayne Smith's got to get back in there for Hamilton.
Tiger Cat offensive line leading the way in sacks allowed, just 9 for the entire season, and that's the best percentage of any offensive line in the league. It is 3rd down, and the Tiger Cats get set to kick it away with Borum back at his 36.
Good kick, boy.
Gets a decent bounce, and there'll be no return on that one for Keith Stokes. It's Kevin Glenn's turn when we return. Bombers first down from the 21. Play action fake. Glenn is on the money out near the 35-yard line.
So Jim Davey talked about Kevin Glenn and talked about him saying that his shoulder is fine and it's just a little bit of rust, and that's always the problem. When you have that nick and you don't take all the reps, then you have to take a quarter or two to get back in stride. And that throw as he's rolling to his left back to Stoddard is proof that maybe Kevin Glenn is back in stride.
13 yards to gain. First down, Blue Bombers. Charles Roberts has run well all night long. Not much there. Down at the Tiger Cat bench, here's Keith McMahon.
Thanks, John. A couple injury updates here from the Ticats sideline. Adriano Belli hurt his right leg late in the second quarter. They thought he would return and walk it off, but the training staff has come out and said that he will not be back for the rest of this game. However, Wayne Smith, the offensive lineman, is expected back in the next offensive series for Hamilton.
And there's the replacement, Devontae Peterson, in for Adriano Belli. Is 3 for Roberts. Play action this time from Glenn. Playing with a little more confidence here in the second half. Stoddard is the target. Best catch of the night, Jamie Stoddard in heavy-duty traffic.
Yeah, he was. He was in double coverage because Wayne Shaw got all the way over there. But what a catch from Jamie Stoddard. I thought this was intercepted all the way. Kevin Glenn steps up, and he's just hoping now that his receiver will make a play for him. Look at Wayne Shaw in perfect position, and underneath that was Chris Martin. Kevin Glenn drops it in there, and Jamie Stoddard catches the ball at the top of his jump.
Stoddard, a 43-yard gain. Blue Bombers set up at the Ticat 30, trailing by 9. Charles Roberts and Marcus Spencer got a hand on one foot and slowed him down.
Well, that was a big catch for Jamie Stoddard. And Kevin Glenn has started to become, you know, real close with Jamie Stoddard. And throughout the last 3 or 4 weeks of this season, they have really got on the same page. Kevin Glenn loves Jamie Stoddard, and he's going to go more and more to Jamie Stoddard as this game or as this season goes on.
Second down. Glenn to the far side this time. And he's got another strike. This time it's Milt Stegall.
Now that ball was a bit behind Milt Stegall. And this Milt Stegall makes this look relatively easy, and it's not, folks. I mean, Milt Stegall has to go back behind his back on this out pattern. Timing throw. Kevin Glenn's got to get it out there, and he throws it a little bit behind Milt Stegall. So he has to come back, go up over his head, expose his ribs for Marcus Spencer, and come down with the football.
Enough for a first down. Bombers at the Ticat 17. Charles Roberts slashes his way through. Stopped just outside the 5. And the Bombers on a nice little roll after a 12-yard gain there.
By formation, the Winnipeg Blue Bombers are going to load it up and isolate Donovan Carter on the backside. And what they're saying is, can Charles Roberts beat Donovan Carter in the open field? And that's what Charles Roberts does on that play to pick up good yardage. They had all the receivers to the left side of the formation. Charles Roberts goes back to the right.
So here are the Bombers set up first and goal at the Tiger Cats 5. Roberts again, spinning his way down to the 1. A 4-yard gain there. Roberts almost found the end zone.
And all of a sudden, there's a little jump in the step of the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. You go back to Jamie Stoddard's catch in double coverage, and I think it's ignited his football team.
Little doubt about that with 5:21 to go. Third quarter, Stoddard picked up 43. The Bombers have 2 cracks at it from the 1. Charles Roberts will need another crack at it. And the Tiger Cats come up with a stop of their own.
Agustin Berenchia with a big tackle, and what happened was Charles Roberts forced to hesitate at the line of scrimmage. He never really got any momentum on this play and allowed Berenchia to come up and make a nice play from the middle linebacker spot. See that little hesitation? You get Charles Roberts stuttering his steps a bit and get your hands on him, you've got a chance.
And have you heard the boo in the background from 25,000 plus here in Winnipeg tonight? It's for the call by the Blue Bomber head coach here. Jim Daly will play it conservatively as he sends out his field goal unit.
Two separate styles. Greg Marshall goes for it on the 1-yard line. Jim Daly will put Troy Westwood on the field.
Now Westwood hit from 52. He's in close this time. Spotted inside the 10 by Stoddard. And Westwood is 2 for 2. The Bombers creep a little closer after a nice drive down to the Hamilton 1. There's a tie up aboard the sack leaderboard. For every sack in tonight's game, Purelator contributes the quarterback's weight to the local food bank. Montford is tied with his teammate Tim Cheatwood with 10 sacks. First in the CFL as the Tiger Cats have 36 on the season, contributing well to the Purelator program, no doubt about it.
Hamilton Bookends have done their part.
They have. Gilliam takes a hard hit as he crossed the 33, 18 on the return, and here's Danny McManus.
He's in a groove right now. Danny McManus, 12 completions in his last 14 tries. 213 yards so far. And DJ Flick, what we thought was going to happen, he's going to lean on a little bit more tonight, has been his #1 target down the field for the deep throws.
Flick to the near side, this time on first down. Tiger Cats just inside the 35. McManus with time, quick release, looking for Morreale, and he was in heavy traffic. Ricky Bell was with him stride for stride.
Yeah, he was. And Ricky Bell did the right thing again when the ball arrived, and that was to not panic, turn around, and make sure that you keep your body between the football, which is coming from this direction, and the receiver. And watch how Ricky Bell stays composed, turns inside so he can see both Mike Morreale and the football. Both making contact, no penalty. That's perfect coverage from Ricky Bell.
2nd and 10, Tiger Cats. Leading by 6. McManus near side again. What a catch. DJ Flick goes up and brings it down. Should be a first down depending on how that ball is spotted. He had necessary yardage and spun back. It will be a Tiger Cat first down.
Danny McManus puts all his receivers to the left side of the field, John, and that leaves a one-on-one. Now what he's looking for is to see if the halfback for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, Stephen Fisher, goes over. If he does, he goes to DJ Flick on the one-on-one. So Danny McManus on the pre-snap read, look to the outside.
McManus under the coverage, and the coverage was a little too tight. Bell was there again, making the play on Craig Yeast.
See, if Danny McManus, just to give you an idea of what I'm talking about, Danny McManus looks at the field and he puts all his receivers to the wide side, and he just says, if he puts like 1, 2, 3, 4 out here and they leave one defender backside on DJ Flick, then he goes to that one-on-one. So as they break the huddle, we'll see what the formation becomes here for Danny McManus. And this is a pre-snap read for the quarterback. You see there's 2 defenders right now over here and only 1 receiver. So as they come out, now do they get 2-on-2? Yes, they do. Could be zone or man now for Danny McManus.
This is 2nd and 10. McManus hit as he throws, but he's got DJ Flick. And McManus is down. But up again, Tom Canada on Danny McManus, who took the hit to complete the pass and get the first down.
And that wasn't an easy one for Danny McManus. He made his read, but because Winnipeg played it straight up, he had to hold on to the football, and that's why you're going to see this hit.
Foul.
And the late hit
the passer.
right there
Winnipeg
from
44.
Tom Canada.
First down.
Because McManus had to wait for the coverage to develop, he threads the needle and then gets cranked after the fact. Had to be called, and a good call by the official.
18 yards on the reception by DJ Flick, and on the penalty. And the Tiger Cats are set up at the Winnipeg 31, 1st and 10. Along the ground, nice hole opened up, and Troy Davis made a better run of it after taking the first hit with a penalty flag down. It's against the Tiger Cats. Player of the game brought to you by Rogers. Rogers, your world right now, and we will start collecting votes any moment now.
Holding.
Your nominees are
Hamilton,
gladly
52.
accepted.
You got to nominate DJ Flick, possibly. How about the guy who's throwing the ball to him? That's Danny McManus. Hey, Jamie Stoddard made a nice catch to give the Winnipeg Blue Bombers some momentum there and a field goal. So he's got to be an early candidate. If he can make a couple more maybe in this fourth and remainder of third quarter in this football game.
Penalty against the Tiger Cats, and it's 1st and 20 now. McManus for Yeast. He's 4 yards too heavy.
They're going after Ricky Bell, and Ricky Bell has responded. Because that's the second time in this series that Danny McManus has tried to go deep on Ricky Bell. And they're right back there. And again, look at the position Ricky Bell with his body in between the football and the receiver, making sure that that has to be a perfect throw and catch for Craig Yeast to come up with it.
Not as many leaks in this Blue Bombers secondary as week 2 of the season when McManus threw for 525. Here we are, 2nd and 20. Bomber fans, the ball gets, Smith has it. It was knocked loose, and Smith back in the game to make the recovery.
Well, and this time we've seen Ricky Bell back-to-back with good coverage. That time he got beat, but he's bailed out by his defensive line. See, they get after it up front. We talked about that off the top of the show. Sometimes your defensive line can bail you out. Ricky Bell plays 2 out of 3 perfectly, and the one that he gets beat by Morreale gets right in. See right there, Morreale flashing. You see Ricky Bell scrambling. He was beat deep. The third try, but that time the defensive line came through for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers and saved the guy in the secondary.
And the Ticats lucky to get the ball back for the opportunity to kick this deep into Bomber territory down around the 10. Borum for Stokes. And that one hops into the end zone. Winnipeg gives up the single points. Not what the Ticats were looking for. Keith Stokes gives up the single point to make it 1 touchdown separating these two teams. And the Bombers take over at the 35. First down here. Charles Roberts.
Marcus Spencer's made a couple of tackles on Charles Roberts. You know, the one thing that matches up well for the Hamilton Tiger Cats is Marcus Spencer, who's a converted defensive back playing in the linebacking core, number 4 right here. Marcus Spencer has the quickness to be able to track down Charles Roberts. Some run stoppers are big, solid linebackers. Not so with Marcus Spencer, and that may be a good thing for the Hamilton Tiger Cats tonight because he matches up well with a quick running back like Charles Roberts.
And he limits Roberts' gain to 3 yards. 2nd and 7. Glenn stands in. And he'll get a first down on the connection to Roberts there.
Now that won't go down as a rushing total for Charles Roberts, who is a game within the game in a competition with Troy Davis for the rushing title, and the only 2 backs heading into this game over 1,000 yards. In fact, both over 1,200 yards. Troy Davis takes his turn on the bench and watches the guy he's chasing, Charles Roberts. And there you go. It's dead even so far tonight.
Zeros on the time clock here, and Roberts escapes for more. 3, maybe 4 here on what should be the final play of the third quarter. And in fact, it is. 1 touchdown separating the Tiger Cats and the Blue Bombers. It's 13-6. Hamilton. A quarter to go in Winnipeg. A touchdown separating the Ticats and the Blue Bombers. Here are the numbers through 3.
After 3 quarters, the Hamilton Tiger Cats have led statistically all game long. The only reason this game is close was because of the Bombers' goal line stand to end the half. Hamilton would be in control of this game on the scoreboard as well.
Bombers stopping the Tiger Cats twice from the 1-yard line. And coming up with a touchdown in the 3rd quarter. This is for Hitchcock. And the Ticat safety couldn't get over to grab that one. It was up for grabs without question.
A lot of people in Hamilton have been trying to stir up a little free safety controversy between Rob Hitchcock and Wayne Shaw. And I asked Greg Marshall about it yesterday and whether or not there was any controversy there. Of course, Hitchcock playing linebacker and showing a little of that old free safety form back there. But he said, no, there's no controversy. You know why? Because Rob Hitchcock may be the ultimate team player.
John Ryan sails a nice one down to the 10. This is Craig Yeast. Look at this. Speed to burn as Yeast crosses midfield, and he's in to Blue Bomber territory near the 50-yard line. He gets back on the kick return and brings it back 51 yards.
In order to get to a wall like Craig Yeast got to there, you need at least 1 block, because you have to get the outside contained man turned inside. And Craig Yeast uses his speed once he gets outside that wall, but he needed 1 block to get there.
Biggest return of the night for the Tiger Cats as Yeast steps in on special teams after starting at receiver. Troy Davis. 6, maybe 7 yards for Davis.
Winnipeg Blue Bombers going to ask their defense for 1 more stand, because that kind of momentum on a return on the road from Craig Yeast now can give your offense a jump start. And now it's up to the Winnipeg defense. They're backs against the wall 1 more time.
Blue Bombers are down by 7. Tiger Cats look at 2nd and 3. And Davis will have the first down. And extra yards to spare down to about the 32.
And Alfred Payton cannot believe it. I mean, Alfred Payton got up and said, I had him. I mean, and not only did I had him for a 2-yard loss. Watch Alfred Payton right here step up and be in perfect position. But great running backs, folks, never let the first guy make the tackle. And Troy Davis made 2, 3 miss and picked up big yardage.
Davis has 11. The Ticats have the first down. And they're at the Bombers' 33. Play action fake to Davis this time. The touchdown toss didn't miss by much as McManus looked for DJ Flick. And by what, 6 inches?
Yeah, when they want to go deep, it's DJ Flick. And see how they get him isolated. No other receivers. Julian Rattlin's blocking there. DJ Flick on the one-on-one, and he has a step on Covington. And Danny McManus goes, give me that one back, because I missed him by about 1.5 yards.
Yeah, I guess it was, although he had his fingers out there. It would have been a spectacular one-handed catch. Blue Bombers are everywhere in that Tiger Cat backfield.
You know, this is a subtle thing, John, but Danny McManus changed up his snap count. And I was watching this series, and he's laughing now because he got the Winnipeg
Outside,
defense.
Winnipeg 56. Still
See,
2nd down.
in this series, he had been going on first sound. So Alfred Payton goes, yeah,
you got me.
That's one veteran going over to the other veteran going, okay, you got me there, because you were going on down, set, hut, down, set, hut. Every time you said hut, you were going. This time you went down, set, hut, hut, hut. And by that time, Alfred Payton was back there with them talking about it.
Technically a 5-yard gain for the Tiger Cats at 2nd and 5 now. McManus a shorter toss. He'll be short of the first down, I would think, on the connection to Tunkara. We'll see where they spot the ball.
Well, the fans here in Winnipeg do not like that spot. The receiver gets his forward progress. When he catches the football, if he gets driven back by the defensive back, he gets the yardage that he had when he caught it. But the fans here were on the officials about the spot. They felt they gave him about a half a yard too much. He's still a little short.
It will be 3rd down.
But he's short enough now, and he got enough yards that Greg Marshall, and if Greg Marshall is going to take 2 cracks from the one as the half expires and not put the field goal on team, I guarantee you he's going for this one.
Greg Marshall, Canadian born, but he's got a little Mississippi gambler in him, doesn't he? 3rd and inch is a critical point in the game. But when you've got a running back like that,
you know, I tell you what, there's going to be a penalty there. Rylan Wickman got thrown off the pile. Greg Marshall hates it. Was it Jonta Woodard who lost his cool?
After the play, the penalty flags flew.
Well, now this will be interesting. We're first yards gained and then the penalty flag thrown. And that's what the officials will have to sort out right now, because if the yardage was made by Troy Davis,
and that looked like he had the
first down, and then the flag came out on Jonta Woodard, then it's first down Ticats. They lose some yardage.
Fresh set of downs for the Tiger Cats, hanging in the balance here.
So they have to measure it first to see if first down yardage was gained. If in fact Troy Davis picked up the first down, which he did, and the penalty flag comes after. Here you go.
Major foul, unnecessary roughness, Hamilton 69. It was after the play, first down yardage had been made, first down.
Tiger Cats, the most penalized team in the CFL this season. The Blue Bombers are number 2.
Well, what got Jonta Woodard all fired up? See Troy Davis in the pile, and he just throws Rylan Wickman right off it.
That was a WWE move by Wickman.
But offensive linemen, you know, they cruise those piles. And Greg Marshall didn't like that. And you know, when Jonta Woodard gets over there, he might want to find a little spot on the bench a little bit away from the head coach, because he might have a thing or two to say about that. But the offensive linemen love to cruise when guys are hanging around those piles.
Here we go with a Tiger Cat first down. Inside the Blue Bomber 40, McManus goes to the corner, and he'll get a contact connection down there, but out of bounds.
You know,
Gilliam makes the catch, but he was definitely out.
You know, in a nutshell, what I think the difference between the Hamilton Tiger Cats this year offensively and last year, Jamie Barisi is he's going to go down the field with the football. And now he has some speed at receiver to do that. I mean, this is a guy who is aggressive with the football down the field. Even if they don't make the completion to Gilliam here, they still put the thought in the defensive back's mind that you're going to go deep.
2nd and 10. McManus.
Look at this.
Morreale couldn't come up with the ball, working against Ricky Bell. But there's a marker down back at the line.
See what that flag is. Again, good position for Ricky Bell. That's 3 of 4 now for Ricky Bell and Mike Morreale. And the one time that he did get caught, his defensive line bailed him out. But again, Hamilton Tiger Cats going down the field.
Offside, Hamilton number 80. Penalties declined, 3rd down.
Tunkara, costly infraction against the Tiger Cats.
Yeah, they'll decline that and now put Hamilton in 3rd down. But I think that's been their biggest improvement. Number 1, they have the personnel to go down the field. Greg Marshall has some speed at receiver this year, something Ron Lancaster didn't have last year.
No question they have improved there. No question at all.
But they have the offensive philosophy this year to go ahead and take shots down the field.
A 44-yard try. Jamie Borum played for the University of Manitoba Bisons. Got the game winner last week, misses again. And here's Stokes.
Oh, man!
Clothesline. Dondra Peterson.
Oh!
Stop Stokes in his tracks. Ticats are trying to claim they have recovered the ball.
The old-fashioned clothesline, my friend.
Hung out to dry. So how come the musicians always get the pretty girls? Brad Bachkowski, the Fritos Pandemonium winner, and on his way to the Grey Cup.
Quite a turn of events in this game. A clothesline tackle by the Hamilton Tiger Cats, Devontae Peterson on Keith Stokes, who is just now getting to the sideline. No penalty, fumble, and now Hamilton has the football.
A clothesline put Stokes on the ground, and here are the Tiger Cats with a chance to get into the end zone again from 5 yards away. Troy Davis
now
gets 4 yards there.
The folks here in Winnipeg wanted unnecessary roughness for this hit right here. I don't think it's intentional at all, although it is to the head, and it's almost around the face mask as well. Now Devontae Peterson, there's a guy who stands 6'3" against Keith Stokes, who's at 5'8". He can't help but hit him in the head as he goes down.
Fans hate the call. 2nd and goal, 1 yard line, and he'll get the touchdown. Davis is into the end zone, and they'll be talking about this touchdown for a 2 TD lead here in Winnipeg for a while.
Now, the tackle clearly to the head of Keith Stokes. Fans still booing after this touchdown here in Winnipeg. This time Troy Davis goes by air rather than ground to get into the end zone.
Well, and the last time he tried it, he was stopped from the 1 yard line. Davis hangs on to the ball.
Keith Stokes still trying to shake off that hit from Peterson.
Oh-ho. Looked like the Bomber fan he threw it to was about ready to throw it back.
I think he did.
Blue Bomber hopes slightly deflated here in Winnipeg. A reminder, The Sopranos comes your way. A new episode Sunday on CTV. The Sopranos. And the Bombers are not singing a happy tune right now, down by 2 touchdowns at 20-6, and a little controversy brewing here in Winnipeg tonight. Robert Gordon, Winnipeg's best return in some time.
Well, John, Neil Payne, who is the former head of officials, is right in the booth next to us, and we just talked to him in that break about this clothesline. Now, technically speaking, you cannot go to the head with your arm and attack him, no matter what. Doesn't mean just with quarterbacks, it's anybody. Now, there is some interpretation allowed for the officials if they believe the momentum of Peterson was unintentional because his momentum to tackle, it became more of an accident. So that leads to this Davis touchdown. That's why the fans are upset. They thought that it was a deliberate attempt to the head from Peterson on Keith Stokes, should have been called, and therefore no fumble. But it wasn't.
Close call and a tough one to make. 8:56 to go, final quarter in Winnipeg. Charles Roberts takes the pass from Kevin Glenn. He'll get a first down out across midfield and into Ticat territory.
You know, and just the laws of physics to wrap up that thought. You know, Peterson so much taller than Keith Stokes, and flying down the field, he was almost lunging towards him.
And it looked like he almost had overrun him and stuck
his right arm out.
Is that a possible interpretation there too?
Yeah, basically, I guess the officials interpreted it that way, that it was unintentional and unavoidable.
Bombers 1st and 10. Short little pass. Roberts again. And he's got about 5.
But now, you know, Kevin Glenn is up against it, because now you have 8 minutes left in the game, and that turn of events on the fumble and the Troy Davis touchdown puts you in a real bind for your Kevin Glenn. Now you're fighting the Hamilton Tiger Cats and the clock.
And you need to get 1 touchdown back in a hurry when you're down by 2.
You see Stokes, he was enough of being the nail there. Keith Stokes was the intended receiver. He felt the hit coming that time from Wayne Shaw, turned around and put his helmet in the chest of Wayne Shaw.
So it's 3rd down. Bombers will kick it away.
But John, it is good to see the Keith Stokes back on that field, because that was some kind of hit from Peterson on the clothesline.
Maybe a little woozy.
Remember that from the old Longest Yard days. Remember that movie?
I do remember that.
One of my all-time favorites. The old clothesline. Kurt Reynolds starting that one.
Jason Goss Deep for the Tiger Cats. Craig Yeast had a great return the last time Winnipeg kicked to Hamilton. Now stopped in his tracks by solid tackling on the Bombers' special team. 7:24 to go. The Tiger Cats have the lead. It's by 2 touchdowns at 20-16. And the Tiger Cats have the football, 1st and 10, deep in Hamilton territory.
And this is Troy Davis time, and Troy Davis on the verge of a 100-yard game.
Play action. McManus puts it up. And he had his man. Gilliam couldn't hang on. Dondra Gilliam.
Yeah, Dondra Gilliam he did a nice job of hesitating on Eric Carter and just freezing Carter, the corner going deep. And just as I say, it looks like it's time for Hamilton to try and control the ball and run with Troy Davis. What do? Go deep down the field over top to Gilliam, who really should have made the catch.
Definitely in his mitts, or at least in the breadbasket, as McManus made a connection there, and the receiver couldn't hang on. Second and 10, Tiger Cats. Bombers have a bye next week, and then games against Edmonton and Calgary for the final 2. It's loose. Tunkara pops it up. McGriggs has it.
Well, this is the break the Bombers needed. Right here. Rylan Wickman involved again. Lamar McGriggs over there, as is Stephen Fisher.
This is the opportunity the Bombers have been battling for.
Well, I thought Tunkara did a nice job of turning up the field. Here comes Lamar McGriggs. Here comes Rylan Wickman. They're on their way over there to say hello to Tunkara. It's Wickman with the hit. He knocks the ball out, and his buddy Lamar McGriggs comes up with the fumble recovery. The break the Bombers needed.
Tunkara had the first down, a 12-yard pickup, coughed it up, and here are the Bombers set up at the Ticat 30. Glenn looks to the end zone, wide open. Yes!
Oh, baby.
Keith Stokes is A-OK.
And he took another big hit. And what's this? Keith Stokes. He just got a penalty for something he may have set up. You remember the old Terrell Owens magic marker in the goalpost?
Objectionable conduct. Winnipeg number 3.
Keith Stokes
penalty will be applied on the kickoff.
Opens up, takes a big hit here, hangs on to the football, then went over to the goalpost and pulls out a magazine. And I'm not really sure what he was sort of implying. Was he implying that it was a newspaper? He was reading his name in the newspaper after the touchdown or something. But he gets called after the touchdown.
31-yard reception for the touchdown that gets the Bombers within 7 points. Keith Stokes, what did he want to read here? His name in the headlines? Perhaps.
Well, before we get to the magazine, let's show you the play. That's Keith Stokes right here. Now, 2 things happen. Marcus Spencer, first of all, misses the jam on Stokes, doesn't get enough of him. But then watch Jason Goss, the deep player in the zone, number 27 right here. He is influenced by Jamie Stoddard, opening up Keith Stokes down the middle. Stokes wide open, and then the magazine fiasco at the end of it.
31-yard touchdown, the results. And a great finish guaranteed in Winnipeg. And
read all about it. Keith Stokes in the end zone, no doubt about it.
Extra. Oh, it's the game program, perhaps. Meanwhile, the penalty against the Bombers means the kickoff happens at the Winnipeg 25.
Wow, big kick.
Gilliam threading his way out near the 30-yard line, and this place is alive.
Yeah, John, that kick by Troy Westwood with a bit of a wind at his back.
70 yards.
I mean, that takes away the little Keith Stokes fun time. I mean, just think about this. Keith Stokes puts the team, after bringing them back with some momentum there in the touchdown with his little fun in the end zone there, in a hole if Ticats get the ball around midfield. As it stands, with a 70-yard kick from Westwood, they now have basically where they'd be if Westwood kicked off from the normal kickoff spot.
So the Tiger Cats look to respond to the Bombers' touchdown. McManus has Davis sliding out of the backfield. He makes another play. He gets another first down across the 40.
You have to love the aggressive style from the Hamilton Tiger Cats coaching staff. You know, like, conventional thinking right now would say Troy Davis run the ball left, Troy Davis run the ball right, control the game, kill the clock, keep the lead, win the football game. Greg Marshall's seen enough of Canadian football, and I'm talking college level or pro, to know that 7 points is not enough.
Yeah, and 3-down football hardly ever is. First down, Davis on the ground, and the Bombers are waiting. All of them are there, including McGriggs.
Especially when you consider Troy Davis has had a big night. I mean, he's around 100 yards right now. It's winning Winnipeg.
Going back a long time, 7 straight losses over the last 5 years for the Tiger Cat team. No doubt this is a different Tiger Cat team in 2004. But Hamilton not home and cooled out in this one yet. 4:28 to go. Hamilton leading by a touchdown. On second down, McManus couldn't get connected with Craig Yeast. He had it slide through his fingers there, and the Bombers get the ball back quickly.
Combination pattern to the left side of the formation is what Danny McManus was looking for, and he was looking for the combination of DJ Flick and Craig Yeast over there, and Flick was all jammed up. I mean, he couldn't get off the line of scrimmage from Raheem Covington, and Danny McManus had to hold on. The play just didn't have a chance.
Blackout lifted in Winnipeg tonight, 26,323 on hand here as the Bombers make their run for the playoffs, albeit a little bit late, but there's still hope for Winnipeg.
Oh, big time with Keith Stokes back there. Remember, this guy has 4 touchdowns on punt returns. This is a 7-point game. A lot of football to be played yet.
Not a big kick. And that's out at the 45, instant field position for this Blue Bomber offense. Looking ahead to Monday on the Sports Network, in this corner with Russ Anberg. Comes your way at 7:30 Eastern. Still hope for the Big Blue in Winnipeg. Tiger Cats were looking at this game and hoping to come up with a win out of Winnipeg tonight and have a magic number for beating the Bombers out of the playoffs of 1. Meaning 1 win after this tonight for the Tiger Cats and 1 Winnipeg loss. Well, the Bombers aren't going down quietly tonight. Trailing by a touchdown. Kevin Glenn on the money.
This has been a physical game, though, John. I mean, both these teams have been flying around, and they're not just trying to tackle. They're trying to knock guys out of the game.
Stiegel a little short here, Glenn.
And Donovan Carter tried to go after Stiegel there. He caught that curl underneath. Donovan Carter had a big hit early in the game, I should say. Keith Stokes has taken a couple of big hits in this game. He's still in there.
Well, maybe not short at all. Maybe he makes it by an inch or 2. Clutch catch, Milt Stiegel, who had that first 100-yard receiving game of his season last week in a losing cause against the Lions.
Winnipeg Blue Bombers do not have to break out of their game plan with 3:33 left in this one. They don't have to panic just yet. They may get another series.
Looking for Charles Roberts. Missed by a bunch.
Yeah, but Charles Roberts may just go back to the huddle and thank Kevin Glenn for that. He may just go around and say,
exposed, wasn't he?
Yeah, he may just say, thanks for throwing that one way over my head, because number 1, it was too high for me to jump, and number 2, had you thrown it to me, I'd have been hit pretty hard from Marcus Spencer and Jason Goss, who were bearing down on Charles Roberts.
Roberts takes a breather. Bombers look at 2nd and 10, just across midfield into Ticat territory. Snowed under, but Glenn escaped. He hasn't run a great deal, but he has the first down here.
Big run and good decision from Kevin Glenn to not try and run out there and look for a receiver.
11 yards to gain. First down Winnipeg. This Blue Bomber drive continues. Highlights of this and everything coming your way on SportsCenter right after we're done here, but we're not done yet. Blue Bomber fans still celebrating here with Winnipeg a touchdown behind. What the Bombers are trying to do is win 3 in a row and guarantee a 2nd place finish in the CFL West, but they have to beat Hamilton and then Edmonton and Calgary to do that. Roberts picked. It's number 1 on number 1, and Shaw comes up with a crucial interception that might just keep the Blue Bombers on a back burner for clinching a playoff spot or grabbing one through the final weeks of the season.
Well, John, there's lots of time left, though, at 2:24, but Kevin Glenn is going to have to get another stop out of his defense. Watch the range. Wayne Shaw is going to start here just this side of the hash mark drop and go all the way to the sideline and help out. The Winnipeg Blue Bombers feel like they have the matchup they want with Charles Roberts out of the backfield working on Baranchia. That may be the matchup they wanted, but they didn't count on the range from Wayne Shaw.
Unnecessary roughness. Hamilton 53. After the play, first down.
That's how physical it's been, folks. Mumford gets that penalty and puts Hamilton in a hole. So it's not over yet. 2:24. Kevin Glenn just needs to stop from his defense. Wayne Shaw did it for his defense.
5th turnover provided by the Blue Bombers. And the penalty means Hamilton will begin inside the 20 at the 16-yard line.
Boy, he's got some range back there, Wayne Shaw, at that safety spot.
Went up high, brought it down. Ticats ball, 1st and 10. Davis. Markers down. Payton was in on the tackle along with Canada.
Right when Kevin Glenn, and I'm going to tell you something about what Joe Fleming will bring to this team. Right when Kevin Glenn threw that interception, Joe Fleming sprinted on the field with his helmet off, turned around, yelled at his defense as he was running out there, because he knows with his experience there's no way they're out of it.
Winnipeg 56. First down repeated.
Now that hurts to have Elfrid Payton jump offside like that. And he doesn't feel like he was offside because the Bombers had Hamilton caught for a loss there. But that's the type of leadership that Joe Fleming will bring. Now they still need this stop, and this is a crucial down or series of downs right here.
1st and 5. Tiger Cats at the 21 now. And they get a little bit there from Davis again.
Well, now what do you do if you're Greg Marshall? You got Troy Davis, who just went over 100 yards tonight. He sits at 101 yards, so he's having a pretty good night. You've got a long 2 for a first down in a crucial situation. You go back to Davis and you leave it in his hands. You're playing against a good defensive line. Put the ball in the air, and you're taking a bigger risk.
2nd and 3. And the hole opens up. Davis makes a huge play for his Tiger Cat teammates there.
Now that's a safe call from Greg Marshall, but it's well executed. I mean, that's a long 2. You're going up against Doug Brown and Joe Fleming in the middle of that defense, and that's exactly where they attack. They attack the heart of it. Joe Fleming and Doug Brown, and open up a nice hole for Troy Davis. Full credit to the offensive lineman up front for the Hamilton Tiger Cats. That was a big down for him.
1:37 remaining. A 16-yard gain for Troy Davis. First down for McManus, and he's got Gilliam. He's got another first down. Kelly over to make the tackle and force him out. Another 16 there.
Well, with that, with that first down, and you saw McManus trying to tell Gilliam to get down inbounds, but with that first down, minute 24 left, McManus with 2 more downs for sure has a chance to now probably get it to under a minute if in fact he has to punt.
It's the Tiger Cats by a touchdown, 1:24 to go. And here goes Davis again. Another first down for Troy Davis, over 100 a couple of plays ago. He has 11 more there.
You know, and those are hard yards in a key situation. I mean, Troy Davis, we saw him earlier on when in key moments in this game, Alfred Payton had him in the backfield a couple of times. He made Payton miss. He's run through tackles, arm tackles, has another 100-yard game. It hasn't been a flashy 100-yard game for Troy Davis, but a real important 100-yard game. And this is a guy who, you know, it's a guy who'll never let that first guy make the tackle.
Well, here's a look at the game story. Tonight's story, as usual, brought to you by Sport Check, proud supporter of the CFL.
Mike Morreale had the touchdown catch. Ticats points off turnovers, 4 of them for the Bombers.
Davis 129 yards rushing and a touchdown, and he's got the ball again.
Jim Daly trying to call a timeout after that tackle from Joe Fleming, and as we thought, Danny McManus does get it under a minute, but just under a minute, 58 seconds.
So still time for some Blue Bomber heroics in a hard-fought battle here in Winnipeg tonight.
Basically, Greg Marshall needs one more play from his offense on 2nd and long. Jamie Barisi over there talking, the offensive coordinator, with Danny McManus. And you know, all those deep passes early in the game, John, they now pay off. And this what I mean by that is you have to respect that they just may go deep with this football, even though conventional thinking would say no, be a little more conservative, and may give the Hamilton receivers a little room underneath. We'll see.
It's 2nd and 8 for the Tiger Cats. McManus, the naked bootleg isn't quite as attractive with Danny running the ball, is it?
No, it doesn't quite have the same flair when Danny McManus comes outside there as it does when Marcus Brady does. You know, the Ticats going for the complete surprise factor there.
Well, yes, the element of surprise is definitely there. Talking about Marcus Brady on a key 3rd down gamble last week in the win over the Eskimos. The bootleg for the first down that allowed the Tiger Cats to continue on and get the game-winning field goal on the last play of the game.
Well, now Keith Stokes back in the end zone to take this Jamie Borum punt. With a 7-point game here, Stokes does not want to give up a single. You know, Jamie Borum would like to angle it out, you know, inside the 10-yard line. But Keith Stokes on any given play can break it.
4 punt return touchdowns for Stokes. A couple against Montreal, in fact. One against Ottawa, another against Calgary. And he got the touchdown to get the Bombers within 7. 32 seconds remaining. And the Ticats take a little more time off the clock. Bombers' next home game against the Stampeders, a bye week for Winnipeg coming up, and then the Stampeders in town on the 29th.
Big games down the stretch, essentially counting this game. 16 games left in the Canadian Football League. We'll have 10 of them for you. There's Hamilton's next home game.
1 of 2 against the Ottawa Renegades, which could decide things in the Eastern Division if there are no crossovers coming into effect here in the stretch as we look ahead. So 32 seconds remaining. Borum tries to angle it through the end zone. Can't do that. Now Stokes met by 3 Tiger Cats with a penalty flag flying near the 25. Well, the Gladiator. In a game like this, there were lots of nominations.
There were lots of nominations. Keith Stokes a nomination, the big hits he took. But Troy Davis, it wasn't a flashy 100 yards. It was a very tough 100 yards. He had to run through camera guys and audio guys. He had to run through officials, and he had to run through defenders for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, always breaking tackles. A quiet 100 yards, a key touchdown. Once again, Troy Davis, you prove your valor tonight.
Best rusher in the league right here. Best rusher in the league right here. MIA, baby.
So we're down to the final 22. The Bombers, after the penalty, begin at the 5-yard line. Roberts gets out to the 10 with 15 seconds remaining.
The Hamilton Tiger Cats will drop back 4 or maybe even 5 defenders. Rob Hitchcock becomes another free safety with Wayne Shaw. They'll get back deep and just make Kevin Glenn throw it underneath and end this football game.
Contact on the far side. 2 seconds to go as Cologne makes the catch. But it's a long way to go with 2 seconds remaining.
Well, Kevin Glenn has to hope for a penalty. I mean, he has to just try and throw it up and hope that one of the Ticats hits one of his receivers a little earlier or tries to grab him and panics at the point of attack.
Check the Tiger Cats all playing center field back there. They're 6 deep. Well, maybe 8 deep when you count it all, because only 3 are on the line. That'd be 9 back there.
Now here's the strategy.
I'm not so sure what was going on. They're hoping for a fumble, obviously.
No, let me quickly explain that too. Everyone is onside behind the punter on that quick kick, but Wayne Shaw recovers it, so there's no chance they can get it.
And hoping for a quick turnover, they don't get it. So those Tiger Cats improved to 7-7-1. That's 7 times as many wins as Hamilton had a year ago.